Hello everybody, JA here from the Vault Studio for another YouTube video. Today we're going to get into the different types of free agents and franchise tags. And the reason I wanted to look into this is for the newer people. This is part of our Learning Football series for people that don't know a lot about the game but want to learn. So obviously we're entering into free agency very soon, which all players that are out of contract for their teams or released from their teams become free agents of the league, and they can be signed by any other team. But there are certain types, and that's what I wanted to run through, just a short video about the different types of free agents and then the different types of franchise tags. So franchise tags is something that a team can place on a player to stop them from leaving their team and get them off the free agency market. But we'll get to them later. Let's start with the type of free agents. Really, to start with, what you've got to look at is accrued seasons. This is what dictates how a player becomes a sort of free agent. So in order to accrue a season, a player must have been on a full play status for at least 6 regular season games in a given season. Now, I've got a guy like Joe Thomas here because he missed about 2 snaps over his entire career or something insane like that. So this means that a guy like that would have easily got through his accrued seasons than other players who, are injured a lot. Maybe they missed their first couple of seasons. Although they're not rookies anymore, they don't count as accrued seasons, which means that they can hit free agency earlier as a different style of free agency. Let's go with the first free agent, which is the unrestricted free agent. A quick look at Tom Brady this year. Obviously, he's the hot ticket this year in free agency. But an unrestricted free agent is someone who's played with a player with more than 4 accrued seasons and is out of contract. He is free to sign with any team. He has no limitations. The team he is currently on has no way to keep him unless they tag him, which we'll talk about later. But the bottom line is he is free to go. So basically, you got to keep in mind, when you're drafted in the NFL, your rookie contract is 4 years. So the way they look at it is, after your 4 years in the NFL, you are pretty much free to go and sign for another team. We'll get to the next one, which is the restricted free agent. A restricted free agent is a player with 3 accrued seasons and is out of contracts. Okay, so teams have the right to tender this player for draft picks, either first, second, or the player's original drafted round. Teams can also issue a right of first refusal tender, which means they can match any signed offer sheet from another team. They do not. So how that works is, so a guy like Kareem Hunt, for example, he missed a season because of a suspension, so he didn't get an accrued season. So now he's technically been in the league for 4 years, but he's only accrued 3 seasons. So he's hitting free agency because of his rookie deal, but he only has the 3 accrued seasons, so he is restricted, which means the Cleveland Browns, who now own the rights to him, they can tender him for a first or second round pick, which then, I'm not going to get too in-depth on how that changes things because I just want this to be the basics, but that kind of dictates where if someone signs him, they get those picks back, or his original round, which I believe was a second round pick for Kareem Hunt. So they can do that, and then if a team offers them the contract, they either get the first right of refusal, so they can match that contract and keep him on their team, or they can let him walk and get one of those compensations. It's just up to the team that picked him, really. The next one is an exclusive rights free agent. This doesn't happen very often. It's a player with fewer than 3 accrued season and an expired contract. His original team can offer him a 1-year deal at the league minimum. Now, the league minimum is based on credited seasons, positions, all that sort of stuff. I won't get too into that. And the player cannot negotiate with any other teams. The big thing for this is undrafted guys, and I've got Gus Edwards up here for an example. He was an undrafted player. When you're undrafted, a lot of the time out of college, you sign a 1-year deal. So if you sign a 1-year deal, at the end of that season, you're technically a free agent because you're 1 year's up, but you haven't had 3 accrued seasons or 4 accrued seasons, so you're not unrestricted or restricted. Basically, what this means, if the team wants to keep you, they can offer you a minimum, a league minimum for your first 2 years, and then your 3rd year, they've got you turn into a restricted free agent. That's basically how that one works. It's really tied to undrafted free agents or guys that have significantly bad injuries during their career. Next, we'll get to the franchise tags. Now, franchise tags, as I said before, is something that a team can tag a player. They can do one of these per season. If it rolls over into another season, it changes everything, but we're not going to get into that. We'll just get into the initial franchise tags. So you can do a non-exclusive franchise tag, which means they're free to negotiate with the team, but they have a 1-year deal with an average of the top 5 salaries at their position, or 100%, 120% of last year's salary. So it's a 20% pay rise. It's whatever's more. If the player signs an offer sheet with another team, They have 5 days to match. If they decide not to match, they will be given 2 first-round picks. So as you can imagine, when you hit someone with a non-exclusive franchise tag, they're not going anywhere, because to give up 2 first-round picks to sign this guy, or for the team to get that back, other teams just aren't interested in it, and you can imagine the teams are pretty motivated to keep these sorts of guys. Le'Veon Bell, who I've got up there, was one of the guys who did this, but teams do this every year. Jadeveon Clowney, DeMarcus Lawrence, just off the top of my head, were last season. Another tag is the exclusive franchise tag. This is exactly the same. Again, it's the top 5 salaries at the position, but they do not have the right to negotiate with other teams. They are just locked in, exclusive franchise tag. You can't go anywhere and find a deal. You are ours, and you're not leaving. Obviously, the salary is really good, because the top 5 salaries at the position, for a quarterback, it's around $28 million a year, and it's all guaranteed. So it's a good deal. The last one is the transition tag. Now, the transition tag is the average salary of the top 10 players at their position. They are free to negotiate, and a team gets first right of refusal, but there is no compensation if they choose to match. So what that tells you is you transition tag a guy, he gets a good salary, but he might go out still. He can go out and search for agency, and some team might come in and just blow the doors off with a contract offer. At that point, the team that tagged him, if it's more than the top 10 players at their position average, which it very may well be, they have to decide to match that or let him walk away for nothing. Basically, it's just a way to keep them from transitioning, hence the tag, to a new team, and this stops them from doing that. So, look, that's kind of how the franchise tags work, and that's it, guys. That's it for the free agency. Look, if you liked these videos, I would urge you to go and just subscribe to this on YouTube. I'm going to start to bring out more of this sort of stuff, and the subscriptions all go a long way, so it would be very much appreciated if you could do that. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, obviously YouTube. Just look for the Vault Studio. I do an NFL podcast once a week with a few other guys. We also have a fantasy football podcast, so we're based off SoundCloud. If you look for the Vault Studio podcast network on SoundCloud, but we are on anywhere you get your podcasts. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Podcast, wherever you get it. I guarantee you we're there. So get on there, hit us up, and thanks everyone for tuning in.